is everybody doing? It feels like it's been forever since I had a chance to check in with you guys. I hope everybody is doing really well. So what can I tell you? Life's been complicated. My lungs are not cooperating, so that's kind of been a bummer. Then I found out it's all inflammation based. Probably should have known that because spend my life in various stages of inflammation. So anyway, that has kept me away from you for a little bit since I had to go have a chest x-ray, you know, yaddy dotty dotty. And then I had to go to the doctor, lottie dotty dotty. Yeah, so I didn't get to check in with you guys, and I have missed you guys so much. So what's been going on? Did everybody have a nice Valentine's Day? Did somebody spoil all of you with great big gifts of love? They better have, otherwise I'm going to have to go medieval on somebody. Because, you know, my Dragonites deserve the best. So I certainly hope somebody remembered that in your life and did something nice for you, took you out to eat, gave you something made out of chocolate, you know, something along those lines. Because, yes, you need to have that kind of stuff. All right, guys, let me know in the comment section, what are you up to? What did you do for Valentine's Day? Especially if somebody really spoiled you, because I want to live vicariously. Come on, I want to know. So we're going to just do a little whip and chat. I'm going to just apologize in advance because there will be coughing. So sorry, guys, that's happening. But I'm just working here on, this is Winter Dragon. This is an Ann Stokes canvas. I'll show you what it looks like. Oof. Hold on. Okay, so this is what I am working on. I tried to get this one forever from DAC and never could get it while it was in stock, which, you know, wasn't often. As soon as it came in, it went back out. So that's okay though. I found it at Sun Natcher in a, I think it's a 40 by 50, which is fine, and in round drills, which makes my little toes tap, as you know, because you know how I feel about squares. So yes, made me happy to find it. And this will actually fit in my portfolio that takes the 40 by 50 size canvases. So it's all good. There's no bad here, really. Except that my cover minder doesn't want to stay on. Other than that, though, it's all good. Come on, magnet, cooperate. But I'll tell you what I have noticed about Sun Natcher. I've now started several. I haven't finished any of them, but I have started several. And what I have discovered is they use heavier confetti, I think, to make up for some of the sizing. So it's, I mean, there's like a silly amount of confetti. But you know, I'm looking down here at what's going to be the tail, and yeah, I think it's going to pay off fine. Well, that, and of course, you know me, I have to have my bling. So I did trade out 6 of the colors. I added 3. It didn't come with any special drills, but I took out 6 of the colors. I put in 3 ABs and 3 fairy dust. So there will be bling. Don't worry about that. It's coming. So yeah, so I'm okay working on my nice round drills. I will say I'm not really happy with the glue here. I don't think it was cured correctly. So there's a couple of sections that you can't get the film off at all. And then there's a couple sections where the drills are ice skating. So it'll be fine when it's finished, but it's going to be frustrating to get it finished because of that. So, but you know, no pain, no gain, right? Right. Okay. So that's all happening. What else is going on? How has 2026 been treating you guys? Are you guys having a fairly decent year so far? Or what are we thinking? We're 6 weeks into it, so what's happening with you guys? Let me know if you're having a halfway decent, you know, 2026, or if it's not really sizing up to be the better year you wanted. keep me posted so I know what's going on. I think that I'm having an okay year, sort of, so far. Glory, hallelujah, the roof is done, you guys, finally. Oh my God, after nearly 4 years now of worrying about it, stressing about it, not knowing how we're going to get any funding, knowing we couldn't afford it. What are we going to do? It's raining. Oh, here we go again. Batten down the hatches and get the towels out. It's going to leak. Like what? Ugh. You guys, I am so happy to have the roof done. I can't even tell you. It's actually almost palpable how happy I am. So, yeah, that has been a thing. And it was, guys, just in the nick of time. Literally just in the nick of time. They just finished last week. And we had quite the storm last night. We had thunder and everything. So, it has gotten a workout. We did actually, when the first rain happened, because there was a rain that just rained for like one night, but it was pretty hard rain while they were finishing up, and we found out the skylight's leaking, so I had to send the dude right back out. I said, fix this, please, which he did, and he did a really good job, and it looks really nice. But God, just when we thought we were safe, back came the towels out because skylight's still leaking. So we got that taken care of, and I think officially we are dry every time it rains now. At least we were last night when the storm was brewing, and I mean, it was a hard storm, you guys. It was loud too, and poor Jared couldn't sleep because he was in a little bit of misery because you know, he would just get into it, and then thunder would hit, and then that would wake him up, and his dog would bark, and then he would try to get back to sleep, and then it would happen again. I mean, yeah, so he was a little tired this morning. He looked like he didn't sleep well. So hopefully the sun is out and it's beautiful right now, but we are expecting more rain. So hopefully, though, maybe it won't be quite that loud or quite that hard, or, you know, maybe it won't disturb us. It is interesting to note that now when it's raining, it's much quieter in the house. It used to be really loud. But, you know, because we didn't have much in the way of insulation either. Like, it was just little bits. And so, you know, we heard the rain on the roof every time it rained. And this last time, not so much. It was very peaceful. So it was nice to be nice and warm and dry, looking out on the rain instead of continuing to be stressed out that the rain is going to enter into the house. So, yeah, that was all good. So Jared's birthday is getting closer, and so that's been a whole thing. He's cute. He is going to be turning 30 on his birthday is actually March 3rd, but the party is on March 1st. So plans are coming along. I think we've pretty much gotten the menu situated. You know, Crystal's going to be helping with some of the cooking. We're going to be picking up some food. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is what to do about, Jared wants to have like some carnival games. So I want to make those rather than buy them, because even at Amazon, they're like, I mean, they're not even as good as I could actually make. And they're very expensive for what they are. I mean, you know, they're basically paper, and it's like, wow, not cheap. So that's, you know, part of it. So, and trying to find the decorations. I was glad he went with marble theme because, you know, 30-year-olds, most of the decorations are dirty 30 type decorations, which is not appropriate for Jared, and kind of was stupid. So we're going to, you know, stick with the marble theme. So I did get, you know, the plates, the napkins, the cups, the table covers, all of that stuff in the marble theme. So that will be available to everybody. What else is happening? My other kids, so my oldest, Devin, and his 2 boys, my grandbabies, and my middle son, Tyler, and his kids, a boy and a girl, are going to be coming in next week. Devin and company is getting in Thursday, and Tyler is coming in on Saturday. So, and the party is on Sunday. So, yeah, everybody will be here, which is so nice. My brother and his wife are coming for the first time in, I don't know, years. They're going to be here. So, that's a good thing. And, yeah, I'm hoping that if I can just figure out enough activities. Jared wants to have, we got a venue that has both indoor and outdoor possibilities. So there's a little playground outside, which is good because we're going to have some kids, probably a dozen or so kids, ranging in age from 2 to 10. So weather permitting, they'll be able to play outside on the playground. And then there is an indoor area that, you know, seats plenty. So we're going to have like one area set up with just, we're going to take a smart TV and a DVD player and just have, you know, Marvel movies just on rotation. So, you know, we're going to have the Hulk, and we're going to have Iron Man, and, you know, Avengers. All the iterations will be there in some way or another, and somebody just has to change them out as one ends so we can start another one. And that way, if anybody needs to take a break or wants to rest or just wants to watch the TV, they can. There will be a hero movie going, so that will make Jared happy. Having to pry Jared out of that area might be challenging because chances are he's going to want to be over there most of the party. So, only things left to do, I need to order the cake, which I will do over the weekend, no later than Monday, to have ready to go. And I think I'm going to have some Costco pizzas. So, and did you know you can get those Costco pizzas double cut? So instead of getting this like big slab of pizza, you know, like the size of a small picture frame, you can have it cut in half. So you can, if you get it double cut, there's actually twice as many pieces, and they're still really big, but they're a little more manageable. So I'm probably going to get 3 or 4 of those, probably 4 pizzas. And then we're going to have a vegetable tray and a fruit tray. And Crystal is going to make wings because the place has a kitchenette too. So we have an oven and a refrigerator and, you know, you name it. We'll be able to utilize that. So yeah, hopefully, hopefully it's going to be a good time. People are sort of coming from everywhere. So I don't want anybody to, you know, feel disappointed, especially Jared, although he's probably the easiest one on the planet to please. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't stand on airs. You know, he's very easy to please, and he doesn't, you know, have unrealistic expectations of people. It's going to be a little hard for him to be around his nephews and his niece, I think, because, you know, he was the youngest, and so not a lot of little kids around. I mean, there have been a few, and, you know, he thinks they're cute and all of this, but it wears on him too, because he doesn't like that. If babies just didn't cry, they would be fine, but he doesn't like to hear anybody sad. You know, man, woman, or child. So that might be a challenge with some of the tinier ones, but, you know, we'll see. Maybe they'll be okay. And, you know, plenty of room, so if, you know, the parent of said child needs to go outside with them or something, they certainly can do that, you know, and the party will continue, and then they can return as needed. So I'm trying to make it, you know, as casual as possible so that it's not, you know, it's a no pressure party. That's what I'm trying to say. You can come and go as you like, you know, you can eat, you can hang out, you can, hopefully you'll have a couple of activities you can do, you know, all the things so that people can just come and enjoy it at their pace. And, you know, Jared can have a good time, and he can sort of mingle and just enjoy himself. So we're going to have lots of photo ops because, you know, Jared's brothers aren't in town that often, and so I really want them to, you know, be able to hang out and get lots of pictures of them together, because I hardly ever get to do that now. since one's in Texas and one's in Florida, like, you know, you can guess how often we see them. Not very dinged. So lots of pictures will be taken. Hopefully not just of crying kids, but, you know, kids having a good time. So yeah. And I want to have some time just to hang out with the grandkids. I told my little Caden, he turned 9 years old on the 11th of February, and I want to just take him and get him a gift, because I told him I would take him and, you know, we would shop and he could pick something out, and I'm trying to keep him away from yet more video games, but I don't know, we'll see. So I missed his birthday, you know, I mean, I sang to him and I saw his face, but I didn't get to get him a gift because I knew he was coming out and I wanted to do something, you know, just nice for him. So hopefully I'll have some time to just take my grandbabies out and go shopping. So that'll be fun. And my little Layla, she's turning 2 on the 18th of March. So hopefully I'll be able to take her somewhere and see what she would like. Although, you know, she's a hard sell. She's very much like her mom's appendage right now. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, yeah, and since she homeschools those two, my little Mason and who I'm really looking forward to seeing. He's my little chip off the old block for his grandma. He's my crafter of the group, so I love that. He sends me cards, which I love. One of these days I will show them to you guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing him too. But, you know, he's homeschooled, and Layla's his sister, and she is a shrieker. I mean, she just is, and I cannot stand it. I mean, it's hard, guys. It is hard to see millennials parent, because no, they are allowed to do things that their kids are allowed to do things that they were not allowed to do, which is probably part of the reason. But oh my God, the screamer. Oh, I call her the banshee because she's so loud, and she uses it when she isn't getting her way. And so it's really not good. Like I said, my kids were not allowed to shriek. Number one, they didn't have any need to shriek. So that was number one. And I made that clear to them. Like, boy, you know, there's no reason for you to yell. So we're not going to be yelling. So let's do something else. So, you know, use your words. You know, what do you want? And when they were little, I said, you point to it, you know, tell mom what you want so we can see. And, you know, we learned it that way. But if you shriek about it, you're definitely not getting it. That's just the reality of the situation. It's not happening. So it's a little hard for me to be around her. She's adorable and sweet, and I love her, but that screaming is enough to make a person run for the hills. So it's a little challenging. And, you know, she's got a mind of her own because, you know, she's a little woman, and she's just she leads the group. Like, let's just say that. She has, you know, her way or the highway kind of thing, which is scary when she's not even 2 yet. She's about to turn 2, but she's been at this now for a while, because if you've had kids, you know that the terrible 2s start at about 18 months, and then they go till they're 3. So, yeah, her parents are in for a rough year. I keep trying to tell my son that, you know, you need to think about, you know, giving this child some boundaries. And yes, you can do that with little kids. They don't have to be, you know, grown up. In fact, if you wait until they're grown up and think you can reason with them, too late. You've been determined by them to be of very little use, and yeah, they're not going to take it from you at that point. You have to have started now or before. So, but you know, they think they know everything, so it's hard to tell them that, you know, hey, you're going to suffer for this, and so is she if you don't change the way you're dealing with this child. But yeah, they have to learn the hard way sometimes. Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you. So, yeah, there will be a couple of challenges, but, you know, feel sorry for her mother, because she's the one that has to deal with her and take her out and deal with her if she can't handle what's going on, like being inside of a restaurant. You know, those are sometimes a difficult thing for her to do, and then her mom has to deal with that. I'm like, ugh. No, thank you very much. So, yeah, so that's coming. I'm trying to decide what to do with them. We can go out and do something because there's not a lot to do here. I mean, mobile homes, there's not a lot to do in general. I do have a big toy box, you know, grandma's toys kind of toy box where anything in it, they can do whatever they want to and it's fine. So that keeps them occupied for a little while. But, you know, and I mean, they can go, we do have a park in town, a really nice park where they can go and play. You know, so the adults can sit down for a second, but it's, you know, it's a full-time job. And my older son wants to go see some friends while he's here. He's going to be here a couple of extra days, which is, you know, which is fine. But I said, you know, you haven't entertained the possibility that, you know, maybe my little 3-year-old Lucas is not going to enjoy being with his grandma, in which case, you know, you can't just leave and run because this is my first time, you know, seeing Lucas face to face. We've been on FaceTime since the day he was born, but first time face to face. So I said, you know, don't make firm plans. You know, you can make, you know, plans, you know, that you would like to do and just let them know, you know, some of it depends on your kids. Now, my little Caden, who is my little Lucas's brother, he's pretty good. You know, he did just turn 9, so he can entertain him for a few minutes, but you know, it's just a few minutes, and then, you know, Lucas kind of loses interest. He knows his brother is trying to entertain him, and then he starts to get annoyed because, you know, boys. So I don't know. We'll have to see. And I don't mind if, you know, he's a little grouchy and this kind of a thing, but you know, I can't like chase him or anything because that just wouldn't happen. So I have to use my little Caden as the goalie. All right, grab him, bring him back over here, kind of a thing. So we'll see. Don't know, but we will see. This will be the first time that I have actually invited my ex and his wife to a party for the kids. Up until this point, you know, we had individual, we did individual things to celebrate the kids' birthdays. And so, but this is a big one, you know, Jared's the last one, and 30 is a big deal. So, and we're going to have lots of people. So hopefully between 35 and 40. So I figured now they might as well join the group because, yeah. So they're supposed to be coming, and she has a son that's 2 months older than Jared. They went to preschool together, so this has been a while, you guys. And then she has twin girls that are a little bit younger than the boys are. So, and do they get along? Sometimes. So we'll see how that all pans out. But everybody's an adult now, so I think they know how to, you know, remove themselves from each other if they don't want to participate. And there will be plenty of people they can hang out with, so should be fine. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting party, I think. And I did invite his secondary teacher, who he also works for. One of his job sites is that he's a teacher's aide for this teacher. And yeah, he graduated from his class, oh gosh, 2014, I think. Yeah. So, wow, that's been 12 years ago. So yeah, he's been working for him as a teacher's assistant a couple days a week ever since, which is good because he's a very good influence on him. But in that length of time, you know, his teacher has gotten married and has 2 little kids of his own. So yeah, one of Jared's respite workers that we had for like 3 years till she decided to get out of the business, also just recently had her 3rd child, and she's going to be bringing a couple of them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm just thinking, oh, please let nobody get hurt, because that's, my biggest thing. It's like, I don't want to have to, find out how close the hospital is, because, so let's everybody just do the best we can. I think I'm going to take just like a little first aid kit. So, scrapes and scratches and things and band-aids we can treat. But if anybody has anything more harsh than that, that's going to be a bigger thing. So we'll just see. Let's hope everybody is, going to be able to handle it. So yeah, that's been taking up my time as of late. Yeah. So I have high hopes that it's gonna be a good thing for Jared, and he's gonna really like it, and get to see a lot of people. And hard part is, I said, Jared, what do you want for your birthday? Because people are asking. He's like, Mom, I have everything already. Which is just precious. I'm like, okay, but what else? What do you need? Or what do you want a new one of? Or what, And he literally couldn't think of anything. I told you his desires are very little. Like, he's not an entitled person. He doesn't think that the world owes him. He understands the value of $1, because we've been working on budgeting for years now, and he understands that some things are just way overpriced, and he knows that. In fact, he calls it highway robbery. Okay. So, if he sees something that he normally would have liked, but he sees it in a store and it's overpriced in his opinion, he just goes, no way, I'm not buying that. Nope, that's too much. I don't want that. Okay. So, as much as I appreciate the fact that he understands the value of $1 and what budgeting means, makes it hard to get answers out of him as to what he wants for his birthday. So, he's only said a couple of things. One I had already gotten him. He wanted a new Iron Man t-shirt, because the other one has holes in it, and I would have just gone ahead and sewed it up, but it's really threadbare. I mean, he really does need a new one. So I got him a couple of Iron Man shirts. So yeah, should be fine. And then I think I'm going to tell his uncle he wants a power bank for his phone, because when he's out doing his job sites, his phone runs, really out of battery. So that makes him unhappy. So he wants to be able to plug into something, because he does look at it most of the day. Definitely while he's having his lunch, he likes to watch videos on his phone. And so that runs the battery down. Plus, it's not like it's a new phone. In fact, I think it's my old phone. So it's, it's got some mileage on it. So, but if we can get him a power bank, that would probably be a good thing. And that'll give his uncle and aunt something to get, because, he's the kind of stuff that his uncle liked when he was a kid, is not the type of a person that Jared is. So it's hard for him to figure out, well, what is it? What can I get him? Because he wants to get stuff for his nephews that he would have liked as a kid, but, and for the other boys, that's kind of okay. But yeah, for Jared, he's just really not the same type of a person. So, he's not into cars and, and loud things and Nerf guns and all that. He's just not. So he's a little bit harder for him to figure out, well, what should I get him? So I think I'll tell him about the power bank, and that will be something, and he'll get the best one he can find, which is nice. And then that will be a problem solved. And then I'll have to figure out, what to tell other people. He always likes to go out to eat. So, gift cards are always good, because he loves Domino's. Pizza is his favorite food, so any place with pizza is always good. He likes to go out to restaurants, so that's always good. He likes to go into Target and shop. He likes to go into GameStop and look around and see if there's something he wants. So, he likes to go and purchase videos of his favorite shows, because he likes to watch his favorite shows over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So, yeah, video is always good for him. Yeah, any of that kind of stuff. So, there are a couple of items, but when 35 people want to know what to get, okay, that's a little bit traumatizing, because I'm like, oh God, I wish I knew what to get, because yeah, he's been kind of quiet about that. I love that he's not ostentatious at all. He does not, you know, have these great. Now, if you were to ask either of my other sons, oh, they could tell you thousands of dollars worth of stuff that they want. And, you know, Jared is not that way, which I love about him. So, yeah. He's just a good guy. So, anyway, that's what's been going on around here. Is I'm just trying to get everything done before everybody gets here next week, because my ability to, you know, work and do the nitty-gritty kind of stuff is going to be limited when my house is full of little people and tiny humans and my kids and my grandkids, and I want to have time to spend with them. So that means I got to get some of the legwork done early-ish, so that, you know, I don't have to worry so much about it, that it's mostly done and then it's just last-minute stuff, so that I can just enjoy them, because, you know, haven't seen them for a while, and it's kind of time to just sit back and enjoy them. Let's see. What else? Kind of rotten timing. I mean, you know, my older grandsons enjoy the dragons, but, you know, it's been cold and wet and rainy. So right now, 3 out of 4 of them are in brumation. So, yeah, they're sleeping. So now there's just only Claire is up. She's the last holdout. Other than that, everybody's asleep. So that's a bummer, because then they can't interact with them, except Claire. And she's, you know, she's a nice dragon, but she's probably the most impatient of the group. So, you know, her ability to interact with them is going to be a limited time kind of a thing, because, you know, she's, like I said before, she got a little bit of a feral side. And so, which is okay. I mean, her tenacity is, I'm sure, what kept her alive when she, by all rights, should have not made it through that whole being hatched thing. So it's all good, but at the same time, you know, I don't want them to stress her into a seizure, because she's doing really well. She hasn't had one in several months, and I don't want to push her into one. So I just have to really monitor and limit their interaction with her. So unfortunately, you know, what I normally would have had would be lots of dragons that they could have played with. Yeah, not so much. Timing is everything, right? So that's that. So I'm going to have to just, you know, we're going to have to be out of the house as much as possible. But, you know, it's also expensive to be out of the house. So that makes it a little more challenging too. So we will see what we will see. It'll depend too a little bit on how the little ones are doing and what the weather's like. If it just rains on us, that's a little bit more stressful. And there's hardly any stores at our local mall, the closest one to us, which is in the next town over. I mean, most of the stores gave up their lease and went to the next town over from there, because it's so much less expensive to, you know, have the building there. So our mall is kind of deserted, but they have quite a few, you know, kid-friendly areas, but like it's not much for the adults to do, because it's just a couple of restaurants left and 1 or 2 stores, and that's it. The place is like a mall ghost town. So, I mean, I know that that's been happening to a lot more brick and mortar type stores, because, you know, mail order is a bigger thing ever since COVID. So yeah, most of the brick and mortar stores are having trouble competing. They just can't sell enough to warrant, you know, paying their payroll and, you know, their lease and all of that. So they either go out and move somewhere else, or they just go out altogether. So yeah, places that we used to go when we were teenagers, you could spend all day at the mall when I was a teenager, and we loved it because we could take the bus from right up by our school and then take it to the mall, hang out there all day long. Because, you know, you could window shop, you could look at stuff. When you got hungry, you went to the food court and you had something to eat. And then, you know, you browsed some more, you met up with some other friends. And if you were lucky enough, like we were, where you had a theater in your mall, you could go see a movie. And then the last bus, we had it figured out, was at 9:45, and we all made sure we were on it. And so, and we just did that like all the time. And if one of us had to do something or our parents wanted us there, they just swung by and picked us up early, and it was fine. So, you know, but we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And, you know, because you feel the freedom when you're not, you know, being overlooked by your adult people all the time. So yeah, we absolutely had so much fun. Be like, okay, what time are we meeting at the mall tomorrow? Oh, okay, let's go. I mean, all summer long we did that. And we had like side jobs, like we were babysitting, or we had little part-time jobs, or whatever it was. So we had a little bit of cash, just enough to spend the day, just being teenagers. And so yeah, it was a lot of fun. Well, now they don't do that. Now they sit in front of video games, or they go online, which is very scary. So you know what I mean? Like they don't get out in the sunshine as often as they used to, and spend all day walking around getting some exercise. They're just sitting there. So I worry about that. But yeah, otherwise, we'll see what we can find out to do. But I would like to have them get to do something fun. And, I don't want to overload them and, where they have so much that they can't get back on the planes to go home because they purchase too much. And it's so expensive to ship anything now. It's ridiculous that, I just don't want to overload them or their parents. So, so we'll have to see how that all pans out. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing all of them and giving them squishes and kissing those little cheeks and just having so much fun. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's getting here quick. I need a couple more weeks. So the fact that they're all arriving next week is proving hard on me. So yeah, that's what's happening with me. So I don't know what's going on with you guys. You got something momentous happening? Everybody looking forward to doing something? Special events coming up? How is your guys' weather? Ours has been just ridiculous. I mean, we got away with, really mild temperatures and stuff for most of the winter, but this last couple weeks, yeah, it's been in the 40s, which for Southern California is ridiculous. I mean, everybody's like, make a fire in the fireplace and get your parka on. We can't move because it's 50 degrees, especially if it's under 50. Most of our nights have been in the 40s. So, and our day temperatures have been 50 to 60. So, which for us is cold. So I know some of you are going, oh, give me a break. I know. We are weather wusses. We are. We always have been. We are just not used to it. Therefore, we are not equipped to handle it. So that's been a little challenging. As much as we need the water, and we really do, because we're always in drought central around here. We're just not equipped to have that much rain that quickly. And the flooding has been ridiculous also. So that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, you would think that, cities and towns that are on the coast where you can get, ocean water coming at you, you'd think they would understand that, hey, maybe we need to look at having a better drainage system. But alas, no, that is not what happens. What can you do? I don't know. So yeah, it's been a little bit crazy, but nothing horrible has happened that I know of so far. We were a little bit worried because, for those of you that don't know, after you have fires, like we've had, massive fires. Okay, when rain comes, you worry about mudslides because that's kind of a side effect of having that much burn scar and then having all this water come down. Is it just, the earth is already displaced and it just puts it together and mudslides central. In fact, my hand surgeon that did my carpal tunnel surgery on both of my hands, last time when we had the Thomas fires, he and his daughter passed away in a mudslide in the house that they were living in. It just filled with mud and washed down the drain, and they couldn't get out, and it was just really sad, and they both passed. Really sad because his daughter was 18 and looking forward to college and doing stuff. And she actually passed because she got a gash in her leg and the help couldn't get to her in time. And she ended up bleeding out. And it was the saddest thing. Just awful. But he was the nicest man. And I miss him. I had to see one of his colleagues not too long ago, and so did Neal, because Neal had and we thought was an infected joint, and so he had to have a brief little day surgery, and we had to go with somebody else, and I just, yeah, that hit hard, because the guy that I had was not only very knowledgeable, but such a nice, kind man. And then to find out that, yeah, he had passed was just, it was so awful. So, yeah, when I tell you the mudslides are a real thing, they're a real thing. I mean, it just is so scary and so awful. So, we were, a lot of people were concerned about that, because we've been hit kind of repeatedly with major fires. We had the Thomas fire in 2017, which was still going on, and it was hard to get up to where we live for my 50th birthday. So that was hard. And so we had that one, and then we weren't even really, we were just starting to come back from that one. And then now we've had the Eaton fires, which have been just terrible. Lots of burning, lots of bad news. And then we had the Palisades fire where, which is also part of the Eaton fire where, Malibu was basically, Pacific Palisades and Malibu area were just sort of taken out. They're still rebuilding. Some of them are just now getting, the permits where they can start to rebuild, and it's been a year. So, I mean, it's just a hard thing, and it's so odd to me because this has not always been a thing in California. We were not always this much of a fire danger, but we had so many years of drought that we just, everything literally just dried out. There was no moisture. There was no, no way to get water where it needed to go. So, and when it was dry, most of the water got redirected to the central area of California where the farming communities are, because their animals needed the water. So we just didn't have moisture around here. So it's been a tinderbox. And so the very next thing that happens is some idiot, throws a match out the window or a cigarette butt, and you have miles and miles and miles of fire. And then there was one, the one a couple years ago was a lightning strike. So, I mean, it's not like you can get away from it, but yeah, this has not always been a thing. It's so odd to me to be, to see my state that I'm a native Californian. So even though I lived in a couple of other states, this has always been my home. Although I'm from Northern California, now I live in Central California, but it's never been this big of a fire issue. And so, yeah, climate change is a thing, people. So yeah, so now we have to kind of wonder, well, okay, well, what are we gonna do about this? And there's been talk about different things to try to do. The problem was our senators were not on the same page for a while, and that was a problem. Neither one of them now are in the Senate, but it was very frustrating because one of them had a great idea. They wanted to put in an aqueduct system from the Pacific Northwest, which always has too much water, so that we could easily, travel it down here, and which would alleviate their flooding problem and alleviate our drought problem, and everybody would have plenty and it would be fine, and, all of that. And they could not get together on the way to do it. So when one put a bill out there trying to get funding, the other one did not support her, and that was just really bad. So unfortunately, that did not materialize, and that's too bad because that would have been a great idea. And we more than have the knowledge and the materials to do it, so it's just really been a frustrating thing. We're all just shaking our heads going, really? Like, hello, this was a good idea. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to come of it. Something will have to, but who knows at this point. So now, a lot of the areas down here, especially the areas like where we are that has like forested kind of areas where there's lots of trees and bushes and whatnot. Some of the areas now have mandatory burn times of the year where you have to cut down your fire hazard type areas. It's a requirement. And so sometimes, there's burning going on and you can really smell it in the air because, you know, smells like a fireplace, right? So you know that that's what's going on. But better to have a controlled burn than an out of control burn. Trust me on that one. So that's kind of been a thing. Everybody is quote unquote encouraged to make sure that any shrubbery that you have around your house, you have, you know, well groomed and maintained so that there's nothing that's just waiting to catch fire and spread, because your neighbors will appreciate you a lot more if they don't end up with their house burned to the ground because you did something stupid. So a lot of that happening around here, but it's just such an odd thing because it was never a thing my entire life until, you know, the last 10 or 15 years. It's just like, I just can't get used to it. It's just the weirdest thing. So yeah, that's happening. But it's nice. I mean, they put up signs and everything, so you know when it's coming, when you're supposed to do it. And then you know when the fire danger is really high. They kind of keep you posted. So it's like, okay, if you still have stuff hanging out there, or your roof has got, you know, really bad shingles, or, you know, something's going on where you're a fire hazard, take care of it, because dry spell is coming and there will be no, you know, water allotted. So yeah, but it's hard for those of us that have been through all those years of drought to think about using, you know, water to water the grass. I mean, it seems like a terrible thing now because we were so used to conserving it that you're just like, wow, really? So yeah, it's funny what you have to think about and what you have to change, you know, depending on your geographical area, you know. I don't know how you guys do hurricanes. I can't figure that out. That just seems like an awful situation to me. But at the same time, my older son, you know, because he's in Florida, so lots of hurricanes out there. But he, you know, tells a lot of people, wow, I don't know how you do that. And then they go, but how do you stand earthquakes? Like, oh my God, you know, which, you know, okay, that's true. They're terrible, but we don't have them that often. And you don't know when they're coming. So when they hit, they hit. And they don't last very long. By the time you go, oh my God, is that an earthquake? It's over. Now, are they devastating? Yeah, sometimes. But, you know, most of our infrastructure has, for several decades now, has been created with the ability to be able to move around, you know, that we have like earthquake bracing and stuff that is part of our, you know, our homes and our businesses and our buildings. So we don't, you know, we learned from the 1906 earthquake, okay? Like we figured out, okay, this is bad. Okay, so most of our infrastructure can move. It can sway with an earthquake. So you don't have the level of devastation that, you know, you've sometimes seen in the past. Every once in a while, you get just a really bad one that just blitzed someplace. Like the Northridge quake was really bad a few years ago. So once in a while, you get a bad one, but very rarely do you have, you know, a very bad one. And you don't have a loss of life either because it's made to do that. The Golden Gate Bridge, for example, it's made to sway 20 feet either direction without affecting the bridge at all. So unless it's really bad, or you have a really rolling kind of a quake instead of a shaker, it's really, very rarely is there much damage done because it's designed to do that. It was actually built to sway. So you just don't have that level of devastation that, say, you know, a hurricane can cause, or, you know, or admittedly the fires could do. Like it's not a thing. So yeah, the Bay Area is kind of a good place to be. I mean, I was in the 7.1 quake when I was still in the San Jose area. Now, 30 years ago, we had just adopted my oldest son, and he was like 6 weeks old. It hit in October, and boy, I've never been so scared. So that really shook us, and we were without power for a while. We had power, but the people around us didn't. So we kind of had a way station. Everybody came to our house because they wanted to see the news. And that was when the Nimitz Freeway bridge collapsed. On the top layer collapsed onto the bottom layer. That was devastating. That was one of those double-decker bridges that were not designed like the Golden Gate. So you know, and it finally just gave. And yes, there was injury and there were fatalities from that one. Still not as much as it could have been, but the reason it was so bad is it was rush hour. So, you know, people were still, the bridge was moving. There were people going both ways and just went. So that was kind of, you know, unpleasant to say the least. But again, 30 years ago, I mean, it's rare. You know, like once a decade, we get a pretty good shaker. I mean, we might get some little ones, like say, you know, 4.5 or less. Sometimes we get little shakers. But again, you can't see them coming. You don't get warning, and they don't last very long. So really, in terms of natural disasters, yeah, I'll take the earthquake. I'd rather just have that go and then be done and not have to worry about, oh, is it an earthquake? Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know how you guys do it when you get warning that a tornado is coming, for instance. Really? I mean, God telling me that is even worse than it coming, because I'm like, oh my God, now I have to anticipate it. Oh no. I mean, I realize it gives you a chance to get to safety, which is a good thing. But, oh, I don't want to carry that knowing that. So, I guess it's all, you know, what you're used to, what you're equipped with, what you've known in your life, you know, what your geographical area is, what you can learn to live with. My son has now been in a couple of pretty good hurricanes. I think the first one was Rita, and when he first moved up there. And that one was really, he was surprised at the level of devastation. And so, there have been a couple since then. So, he's pretty good about it. I mean, he doesn't panic, and he doesn't, you know, he just does what needs to be done, and, you know, puts the shutters on and whatever else, and just waits it out. So, you know, he's pretty good about not panicking in a crisis. So that's good. He's kind of like me in that regard. Like, I can get through the crisis, and then I become a puddle of goo afterwards. So, yeah, he kind of just was like, okay, we can do this. Let's just get this done. This is what we're supposed to do. And then we're just going to, you know, everybody hang on, get your pillows. Let's get your blankets. Let's get into there. So, yeah. But, of course, I panic because I'm like, no. Don't tell me there's another hurricane headed toward Florida. But anyway, and he's in the Fort Myers area, so I always listen to whenever that is going to be involved in anything. I always go, okay, get your stuff together. Hurry up. Get your supplies. Get your extra food. Get your water. Get in there. So, yeah. That happens. But so yeah, that's kind of what's been, you know, happening around here. We are going to be in for more rain. Like I said, right now it's beautiful. It's just sunny and pretty and blue skies and white clouds, but we're due for more before next weekend. So, okay, I'm just going to cancel my week, whatever it is. I'm just going to cancel it and stay in when the rain starts, and we'll just go from there. Okay, everybody. Now, if you have not signed up for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles yet with Neal for his event for March, get on that so that he can get you on the list. He will be doing a video fairly soon that, you know, he will read off who he has officially signed up, so you'll know if you haven't done it. But if you already know you haven't done it and you meant to and time got away from you, please do it. Go to his email. It'll be linked in the description box. And let him know that, yes, you want to be involved in it. And send a pic of your canvas if you have it, or let him know what you're going to be working on if you're waiting to receive one, so he can get you marked down and get you on the participation list. Also, don't forget Walk Like an Egyptian. That is going to be anything Egypt. That's going to be the next diamond painting event for me, for this channel, for me. April 1st to the 30th. Gonna be fun. Gonna have some prizes. Gonna have, I hope, some really cool looking canvases to do. If you're still looking for a canvas and you haven't seen one, there's a really cute Egyptian princess one that Diamond Dots has in the Kelly Horton collection. I'll put her up here on the screen and, you know, have it up here so you can see it. That's on sale. I think she's 17 something. So yeah, that would be a good one if you, you know, really don't have one, but you really wanted to participate. Yeah, not a terrible one. Temu has a bunch of them. Amazon has a fair share of Egyptian canvases. If you just put Egyptian diamond paintings, believe me, you're going to find some. So yeah, just be thinking about it if you really wanted to do that. You know, that's pretty cost effective in terms of diamond paintings. So yeah, that's the scoop. So yes, that'll be April for me, and then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is March for Neal. And then in June, Purple Haze. So anything goes as long as it's predominantly purple. So if you look at the canvas and you see lots of purple, then you qualify. Anything that's 30 by 30 or larger qualifies for that as well. So yes, that'll be June 1st to the 30th. Purple Haze. And then in August 1st to the 31st, we're going to be doing Zodiac. Doesn't matter to me if you want to do the American Zodiac, Chinese Zodiac, whatever floats your boat, as long as it's one or the other. It can be anything related to Zodiac. If you don't have just a regular Zodiac, if you have something that has a celestial theme to it, I'll accept that. So if you don't have anything that's Zodiac or zodiacal related, but you have something that's outer space, or you have something that shows the starry sky or something like that, I'll let you do that, because I don't want you to have to buy one just to be in it. If you have something close enough, okay. But if you're not sure, then email me a picture and, we will discuss it and see if it's, if it qualifies. I'm pretty liberal about that, but there are times I'm going to have to tell you, yeah, no, this is so far outside the line. We just can't bend it quite that far. So yeah, so I'm sorry if that happens, but you have to be in fairness to everyone else who's making a point of having the on-theme canvas. So, but yes, lots of Zodiac people. I mean, there's all kinds of places to find it. I have a couple of options. I do have a Sagittarius. I have a couple of Sagittarius diamond paintings. And then I have In the Stars from Oraloa that I'm seriously considering, which has a little picture of all of the celestial signs for all the Zodiac. But, there's a bunch of them. Again, Diamond Dots has all those cute little mermaids that are, each individual sign. DAC has some canvases that are Zodiac. So, if you have a Zodiac diamond painting that's your actual sign, ooh, kudos to you. Awesome. But it doesn't have to be you. I mean, if you're a Taurus and you've got one that says Pisces, well, go ahead. It still fits the theme. It doesn't have to be your exact one. It just has to be the Zodiac or any of the Zodiac signs for the lunar Zodiac. Like right now we're in Year of the Snake, so, that's part of the Zodiac for the Chinese calendar. So, do the best you can. Let me know if you want to be part of that. And then, of course, our last one that you Dragonites voted on that we're going to be doing in November 1st to the 30th is Fairies, Pixies, and Gnomes. Oh my. So, yep, those are all your fake creatures again, including all you gnome people. You can get all your gnomes done, so that'll be good. If you aren't sure if something qualifies, you can put angels in that category too. So if you have one you didn't get to do last year for Our Better Angels, you can put it in Fairies, Pixies, and Gnomes. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. So completely fine. You guys let me know your thoughts on it. So that's, I think, all the news that's fit to print around here. Let me know, are you guys planning on doing more events? Are you event burned out? Like, what are you doing? I'm trying to think a little bit ahead for next year. I can tell you this, you guys, we are going to have a dragon event one way or another. If we don't get to it this year, we are definitely going to start next year. Probably in January, since that's when we did, last January, we did designer dragons. So maybe I will make that an actual annual thing. So there's going to be another one, so don't get rid of all your dragon canvases. I promise you're going to have a reason to use it. So that is the skinny so far. So yeah, all right, everybody. Well, I've been talking your ear off now for a whole hour. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. And, you know, did you get to diamond paint? I hope so. I did convert a newbie, a new person, one of the nurses at the infusion clinic where Neal gets his infusion. Turned her on to diamond painting. She's hooked. Yay! Got to get that new generation of diamond painters up and running, you guys. Come on. All right, guys. Well, I hope that everybody is having a great week. If not, you know, hey, you're midweek, so if you need to go get something nice for yourself, you go do it, because you know you deserve it. If you're having not such a great week, hey, it's Wednesday, it's hump day, so you're almost finished. Hang in there. Go get yourself something nice. If you're having a fantastic week, get yourself something nice as a reward, because you're having a fantastic week. Woohoo! Those are not easy to have anymore, so hey, kudos to you. All right, guys. Newbies, new subs, hi. Thanks for joining in. I'm so glad that you're here. Please feel free to subscribe, share, like, all the things. Tried and true subbies who leave me those wonderful comments, thank you. I love to see all you guys in there. I hope that everybody, all of the Dragonites, are really going to have a better year. It's going to get better. It just has to, you guys. So we're going to try to manifest it into being, okay? So, all right. Remember, always be a dragon. Spread your wings. Protect those you love. Have fiery passion. Stay strong, slay your fears, and always fly high, rise up, and soar. All right, Dragonites. Remember, you are the incarnation of the most majestic creature ever to be. So, you know what you need to do. You need to draw on your dragon strength. Whenever you need it, you have it. If you need additional dragon strength, the Dragonites are always here. Just pop in and let somebody know, hey, I need somebody to help trigger my dragon strength because it's depleting and I can't take it. Not a problem. We'll be there. People are having hard times. Do your best to do as much as you can to help out your fellow man, because right now we all need it, and you'll find out that that feeds your dragon strength a lot. Just by doing one small little thing for somebody else. Oh, absolute renewal. So, all right, Dragonites, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.